for the prayer of presence. And I want to remind you also of that of Adam's prayer, where you will focus on being part of the earth and part of the heavens at the same time. Just free your hands, free your mind, be present, and let's allow God to tap into our minds. Dear God, as we delve into studying your word and learning about you, may your spirit interact with our mind, with our heart. May we listen with both and hear how to understand you better and how to improve our lives. Amen. All right. So last week, we kind of had this big wrap-up with this concept of praying the right way. And there are several prerequisites that we talked about that we have to be in order for us to be able to pray in the right way so God would answer our prayers more frequently and more effectively. And I hope you are working on it, because this is a process. I was pushing you guys a lot in the last month to think about your divine nature, your divine purpose, to think about alignments, to think about all of these things. And I was kind of expecting that you're going to do it and that we're going to meet over here and everybody's going to be kind of graduated from that already. When I realized it actually took me probably a year to kind of go through that process and to actually like embrace the whole new way of approaching to my spiritual connection altogether. So one thing that I'll be doing, like next week we're going to start a new series, but I'll still have these things as a foundation for the stuff that we study. Because in order for us to move away from the foundation, we need to be reminded of the foundation pretty much all the time. I don't know if you guys did that, but like back in the elementary school, did you guys have to say the Pledge of Allegiance? Again and again and again and again, to the point where you're like, really, they wake you up at 3 a.m. You kind of know it by heart, and then later on, as you grow up, you start understanding it. You understand the meaning of it, and eventually down the road, it becomes like something that you just live by as a part of this country. Well, this is kind of the same thing. Like some of these foundations, I want them to be engraved as you're trying to approach God. Now, the study that I want us to think about today is, as I mentioned this week, sometimes you will do everything right. Like you will go through all of this process that we talked in the past month. And you feel that you're on the right path. And you feel that you're getting a grasp of it and you're figuring things out. And then things just go sideways. Like your prayers run in a completely different direction, like your hopes and things that you think are going to happen just start falling apart, and your life just seems to be pivoting into a chaos. Have you ever been there? How does it feel? Horrible. Huh?
When our lives pivot to chaos?
Uh-huh.
Like, what did I do wrong?
So one is the experience of like, this is just awful, like I just don't want to be here. And then the second experience is like, what am I doing wrong? So one is the awareness of just being in a state that you don't want to be in, and then second is asking yourself, how did I get myself into it, right? What else? How does the day run when you get out of bed on the wrong foot?
Everything just things seems to be going wrong.
Excuse me?
Everything just seems to be going wrong. You're like,
That was this morning for me. I am much better now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. It's like,
I was trying to clean up one of my drawers in the morning, and I ended up stabbing myself with a nail clipper, and then just right Spanish splinter. I don't know, it just went in between my nail bed, and I was like, oh. And then like another thing happened, and then another thing happened, and I was just kind of like, I need to slow. I'm just gonna go back to bed. I need to start over.
so that helped? Resetting?
No.
He's like,
No.
as a witness, like, you can attest.
I laid down, I got some water, and then I started eating. The moment I started eating, I started feeling a lot more better. And then I was hangry at this point.
Everything is so much better after a sandwich. Yeah,
Much. Water and food, instantly better.
So when all of us have those days, we know how it feels. And sometimes you just have to let the day run its course. And you kind of sleep through it, sleep it kind of over, and then next day is okay. But here's the thing, sometimes life really turns into chaos. Like with things that are happening, with the way, where you can even foresee, like this is gonna be a bad week.
I have an example of one of my friends, but I don't want to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Jenna? Yeah. This was like probably last year. Her car, she got into a car accident, and then she basically folded like a lawn chair when she went snowboarding. She fell on her face, completely tumbled, hurt her back, and then she caught COVID almost immediately after that, and then got fired wrongfully from her job, and now they're in a current lawsuit.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Like,
all in a week?
all within a month.
oh, month.
Oh jeez.
It was the most chaotic thing I've ever heard in my life. I was like, how are you? Are you okay? She's doing so much better now. So thank goodness for that. She has a better car. She's feeling better. So lots of positive things there. But that month or two was just pure chaos.
So every one of us gets in our lifetimes, actually we get numerous situations like this. Sometimes just we are more or less attentive to it. But the matter of fact is, when you really actively engage into involving God into your life, what is the expectation? So this is an important week that is ahead of me, and I've been really praying for this past couple of weeks and asking the Lord to guide me, and I've gotten some insights, and I've done the right things, and then things just go haywire. What is the expectation when you engage God that much into your life?
That's going to happen because you're asking for it.
Okay, so you're asking God for good things, and you expect good things to happen, right?
That
All right.
That you think that you're ready for it, that you know.
We had a very peculiar experience last year in the account of that. So, and that was before we bought that house in Florida. So it was on our radar to do something like that, but we didn't really plan it per se, that we have to do this and this and this. We went through the process of, we did all of the things that need to be done, so we were ready, and now we were waiting. And there was a moment in January last year where we really knew, like, this is it. This is it. This is perfect. This is exactly. And then things just fell through. And it actually, and the fallout actually made some mess in some of the relationships. But when it happened in March, it was like, this is even better. This is so much freaking better than what we imagined. But we were so 100% sure that this is it. Until, and now looking back, it doesn't seem that much of a big deal, but then at the time, It was really a big deal. There was a lot of loud phone calls and a lot of kind of unpleasant things that were said due to the things going sideways. Now looking back, thanks for having it, you know. But in the moment of things going sideways, this is the thing that I want us to think about right now. We have hard times embracing bad things happening as part of the plan.
When I got my tinnitus, I would wake up in the morning at 3 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning to go walk around the park. And this is something that was really pivotal in my relationship with God, because I was screaming at him. I was like, even though you might be planning this, I will still worship you. And it like really helped me emotionally deal with who God was in my life and cement who God was in my life. That regardless of me going through this, if he planned for me to suffer for the rest of my life with that, that I would still be with him.
For me, it's the opposite. I'm very skeptical when something good happens. So,
Like who is scheming something around?
yeah, who's got a
Am I
camera?
getting pranked?
Yeah. That's another topic to discuss. Expecting the worst is also a form of lack of faith, but that's another topic for some other time. A really good friend of mine, of years, she lost a son last week. And I called her, and it's so hard to hear from her that same struggle of being so angry with God, because he finally started to do so good. He went through his struggles in his 20s. He barely entered his 30s, and he actually started to get his stuff not just together, but like really good. Things started going in finally the right direction. And his roommate just found him. And they still don't know exactly what happened. But when I kind of called to express my condolences, I figured it's going to be a 5-minute conversation that turned into a 45-minute conversation. And she is an amazing person, serving God, loving what she does. And it was just so, and that's what drove me to kind of also develop this discussion before we get into the new series. When things go sideways, we get pissed with God. When things go really sideways, we blame him for the things that happen. And then we wonder, like, couldn't you do all of these things with a little bit less pain? You know? We see pain, and that's part again of our society, as something bad, where pain actually drives us to catharsis that helps us see things in a clearer light. Now, find John chapter 11. We already went through this story, and I was trying to find another story in the Bible that would depict this better, but I found numerous situations in the Bible where people are missing the big picture, but none is so good as this story over here.
John what?
John chapter 11, the resurrection of Lazarus. So you guys know the story, right? Do we need to refresher? Okay, so Jesus is where was he at? I don't know even if it says over here where was he. Anyways, Jesus was in some village, somewhere preaching, and a messenger comes to him to tell him that Lazarus is sick. And Lazarus was the brother of Mary and Martha, and they were really good friends of Jesus. Most likely they were family. They were some kind of cousins. So they probably knew each other from way early on before he became who he was at the time. So they sent a message, so he whom you love is ill. That is all the message that he got. Obviously, there was no request. There was no, you have a request like the what's his name? I forgot his name. The synagogue teacher comes to Jesus. My daughter is ill. Would you please come and help her and save her and so on? Or when the Roman legionnaire comes to Jesus, hey, my servant is sick. You don't have to come. Just say a word and it's going to happen. Over here, there was no request. It's just, hey, whom you love is ill. So apparently the expectation was obvious. What are you going to do when someone you love is ill? You go and do whatever it takes, So what does Jesus do? Absolutely nothing. He's like, okay, thank you guys. Have fun back. Have fun on the way back. And they go back, and it took them a while. I mean, it took them probably about a day to get back, and they rendered the message. Yeah, Jesus said, okay. And what did Mary and Martha expect? What was the expectation?
That Jesus would show up real quick, right? Like, show up.
Like on the wings of a dove or whatever.
Not
He just, he floats in and no, the heavens open. But here's the thing. They had a reason to have those expectations, right?
Yeah.
They were really tight with Jesus. They were a family. Like there were not too many people that you can say that would consider to be loved by Jesus. But apparently, Lazarus could say that, and Mary and Martha could say that. So the expectations, and now, was this a dire situation? Their world is falling apart. Because here's the problem in those times. If you don't have a male figure in the house, you're going to have some hard times dealing with society at the time. Bible doesn't mention that Martha was married. We know the story of Mary. She was promiscuous. She was possibly even prostitute and so on. Like there was some like bad underlying condition in the family. So Lazarus, as most likely the youngest one, probably even a teenager or a child even, their parents are not mentioned in the story either. So without Lazarus, they would be, it would, like the whole world fell apart at this point, So if they ever needed God to intervene, that is this moment over here. Give me an example in our society. Give me some example from your life or life of somebody else that would match the intensity of the situation.
Like a parent is dying, I would say, right? Like a
Okay.
parent's dying, a grandparent's dying.
Victor goes to a doctor over there in Cancun to check the pain. Turns out it's a stage 4 cancer. What do you have 6 months? Maybe 4. How does it feel? Or, well, actually, you give me examples. I don't want to give you examples. I was kind of,
My mom, when she got sepsis a while ago, years ago,
mm-hmm.
not the name,
Okay.
years ago she got sepsis, and her being in the hospital for about 2 weeks was very uncertain.
Okay.
Also, like for my example, like when my marriage fell apart, that was like very life changing.
Okay.
Not a good way.
Okay. Okay, that's true.
Even that moment, right? Better now, but
Relationship, the failure of a relationship.
yeah, like the breaking of a family, of your family.
Yeah.
Whether it would have been like mine or say like our family or whoever, like it's horrible.
All right. And all of these things, we kind of wish they never come upon us, yet we know that, you never know. Like things like this, if you're not cautious, if you're not paying attention, they can happen easily to you. Sometimes it's going to be none of fault of your own. You know, just simple people that you love in your life get in a situation where really bad things could happen to them, and you really need God to intervene, right? Now, when we do that, this is the thing that we do that screws us up, that screwed up two of them as well. We are setting a stage for an expected reality. We are pretty much creating reality, excuse me, that we will find fulfilling, that we will find like this is what needs to happen. And then our prayers start revolving around the reality that we want to see. The problem with that is, the problem that they had over here as well, is when you create your reality that you pray for, what do you do to God at that moment?
You said limits, right?
Okay, that was kind of my idea that I had. You literally, you put a box and say, God, okay, get in. And make things function well within the box. Now, find me in the story. So John chapter 11. Find me in the story, and let's say, well, I'll give you a little bit narrower, so you don't have to go all the way through. So start from verse 17. And find me a set reality that was limiting Jesus.
Pretty much when he got there, it said that you were too late.
No, find it. Find it. Come on, don't be lazy. Look at him. John chapter 11. The whole point of this over here is I want you guys to engage with the Bible as well. And you understand, I don't need to tell you the value of that.
Verse 21.
What does the verse 21 say?
Martha said to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would have not died.
Thank you very much. All right, we will see the development on that. Can you find anything else?
Yeah, I would literally right before that verse that Laura, it says Martha runs to go meet him, but it says, but Mary stayed at the house, like in her house. She
Okay.
didn't even bother to go see him. So for her, it was like, it's already, it is what it is.
Okay, all right.
That's true.
And then,
Nice. Uh-huh.
And then when Martha answered, like, he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day, like, kind of like limiting him, saying that it is too late, you know.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So another example of a very well set reality. So death is like the ultimate thing. We all kind of tend to see it that way. And over here, Jesus is not, I mean, here's what he could have done. He could have been there and just got him out of the grave and then took him to his sisters the way he did before with other people. When that girl died, he's like, everybody get out of the room. He brings her back to life and he gives her to parents and so on. But over here, he's taking Mary and Martha on a very, very turbulent, emotional ride for a reason. Again, one thing, find me Mary's response. I'm trying, that's what I wanted to, let's say. Oh, here we go. Somebody read verse 32. Morning. No. Come on over here. No. Come on. Yeah.
When Mary arrived and saw Jesus, she fell at his feet and said, Lord, if only you had been here, my brother would not have died.
Thank you very much. What do you see over there? You see a doppelganger statement, right? So literally identical words to her sister's words.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Here's what we do when we talk about our realities. Anytime more of us want to achieve something, we have to agree on it. This is how we're going to do it. And at that point, that becomes a plan. And then when we work together, yeah, this is going to happen. Now, the problem with our prayers and the reality we live in, the moment we start creating reality with each other, that reality gets more and more set in as real. Because here's the thing. I see things a certain way, and then you agree with me, and you agree with me. It becomes real in our heads. Have you ever been there? Have you ever seen kids like playing with their toys? There might be one kid who is having the most fun because the game is real to him, it's a reality. But as soon as you engage with them on their level, you start having the same amount of fun because suddenly those toys actually come to life. On a grander scale, that is what happens to our preset realities. And over here, what Jesus needs, before he kind of steps in and does his thing, he needs to break apart the reality they constructed.
I was just thinking it's also the reason why we have to be careful with the people who we surround ourselves with, because there's going to be people who are naysayers, who are negative, who don't want anything more in life, and unfortunately that is then going to pass on to us. It's like the reality of their existence is they're limiting themselves.
Thank you very much. I have a very good friend, educated, intelligent. He's a Christian, Seventh-day Adventist, but through his life, he went to asking a lot of questions, you know, and challenging a lot of things about his faith and his beliefs. And he likes to see himself as realistic. I see him as irreparably pessimistic. And when we kind of engage, and as I said, he's educated, very sharp-minded. When we talk, it's hard to kind of challenge his questions. But what I got to the point of realizing, I don't necessarily have to challenge his questions to get myself in balance, because he would drag me. Like he would, like his, not even his arguments, but his attitude is so real. Like his pessimistic perspective is so real that it just starts dragging me down. Let's put it this way. It's good for me because it gets me out of my clouds, you know. Sometimes I tend to like go a bit higher than I should. But, and those people are sometimes good for us because they balance us out. But it's true, like we are all familiar with toxic realities as well. You have somebody who is going to complain about everything. No matter the people who find problem to every solution. You know, all of us know somebody like that. Yeah. So, and sometimes we tend to be like that as well. But the whole point is, our realities collide, and very often, if they match, they're going to become much more real. What would you say would be a flexible reality? Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Exactly.
Like the possibilities?
Okay. Being aware of possibilities.
Being able to change perspectives and putting yourself in other people's shoes.
Okay, that also helps a lot, yeah.
Because you have an open mind.
Yes, you have to see things from different perspective. But that was more leaning toward Philip is talking about. So, you have plans for this week. All of you have plans for this week, right? You have an A plan that you really hope is going to happen. But you have to be open for possibilities. Now, what is the first possibility that crosses your mind when you think about your plan for this week? Is it the best possible possibility, or is it the worst possible possibility? What do you prepare for? Huh? You're hoping for the best, but what do you prepare for? The worst. So this is the mentality that we have. We will see the possibilities, get ready for the worst, and hope for the best, which is perfectly fine. That is okay. But the question is, in that flexibility, are you flexible enough for God to fit in? You would hope so. That's not enough.
remember that somehow God's going to put you in it or give you the opportunity to do something. So if God gives you something, He's going to give you the opportunity to also reject and accept Him in that plan.
Okay, I agree with that. That's true. But the question that I really want you to think about is how flexible you have to be in order for God to fit in comfortably.
Oh, very flexible.
What does that mean, very flexible?
Open to His will, like saying, okay, this is what I'm hoping that. This is, you know what I want, but I also have to be flexible enough to say, if it doesn't happen, yeah, maybe it'll hurt, but it will be okay.
Thank you very much. The readiness to completely dismiss everything you planned for is the flexibility that allows God to do much more. I'll give you Philip's example because that was kind of that's been in my mind from last year. So Philip comes in and he's like, I'm giving tithe, I'm done. I'm paying my dues to the Lord, and I'm going to do that right now. You remember that? A week later, he loses all of his business. Where did that take you? In your relationship with God.
I remember, yeah, because like 3 weeks before that, I had really, really good weeks. So I was like, okay, I need to get my tithe. Literally the week after, it was like a month of just like no work. And then I was just kind of like, I'm letting go of everything. So, yeah.
You get to the point where you just let go. You know, you don't hold on to it. That was the lesson that you learned. I remember us talking about that like beginning of the year afterwards when things started picking up. But you had a lot of that attitude like, I'm fine. You know, if it happens, I'm fine. If it doesn't happen, I'm fine. But in order for us to get there is to realize that we did everything right. And what's happening right now, it will be okay. It will be fine. Now, over here in this story, it's really interesting, and Philip also touched up on that as well. So, Martha, that is verse 23. So Martha says, if you were there, my brother would not have died. He would be alive, technically blaming God for failing to do what he was supposed to do. And we all do that. We blame God. You know, it's natural. But over here, Jesus offers a reassurance. So he says, Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Now, how do you understand this statement? Your brother will rise again. What does that mean?
It's future tense.
It's future tense, okay. So it's going to happen, yeah.
He's talking about but then he's talking about the present. She's thinking about the future. Right.
Why? What was Mary's response, as you mentioned? She said to him, I know that he will rise again in the resurrection in the last day. Why was that her response?
Because she's limiting him. She's setting these expectations already. That's her reality.
Okay. Okay. So she is, yeah, that's true. That was the way why she was thinking like this.
That's what they were taught. They were taught that this is going to happen.
Okay.
So she had faith that this is going to happen, and she was willing to surrender. Okay, fine. He is going to rise again, just not at my moment right now. Not when it's convenient for me.
Why? What? Go ahead.
No, I was saying, is that the box that you were talking about?
Mm-hmm. Now this is the problem with the box over here. So she has a set reality. My brother is dead. That's it. There is no going back from that. Jesus says, no, he will rise. But she's still in the box, and now what she's trying to do is this. This is another problem that we do. So we ask God to intervene, to be involved, to guide. And then we start getting mixed messages. Like things simply don't go the way we think they should go. And then what do we do with those mixed messages? We try to rationalize them. We try to make sense out of things that are happening within our box. That is what Martha is doing over here. Your brother will rise. Martha, your brother will rise. That statement makes no sense whatsoever Let's make sense out of it. Yeah, I know he will rise at the last day, at the resurrection. You know, and suddenly what Jesus said hurts a little bit less. Because Jesus, again, he wouldn't have to rise if you were here when you were supposed to be here. You know, why do we even have to go through all of this crap? You know, if you were here in time, we wouldn't have to deal with this. Technically, what Jesus told her, I try to put myself in her shoes. It was like a mocking, almost. Well, he's dead, but yeah, he'll be back to life. Well, thank you very much, Captain Obvious. I know that he'll be back when the resurrection comes. Yeah, you know. One thing that she failed over here to see is a different perspective in the message she's getting from God because of the box. She thought that the box is the big picture. But there is this bigger picture that literally, but in order for us to be aware of it, we need to shatter the box. Makes sense? All right. Now, let me ask you about Mary's attitude for a little bit. So where was that?
32, I think.
Yes. So, let me just see. Just remind me, did Jesus call Mary or...
Yeah. She said that she went to call her sister Mary, saying it was private. The teacher is here and is calling for you.
Oh, okay, but he didn't really call for her. Oh, okay, that's okay. Now, all she knows is that Jesus is calling her, you know? And she shows up and she pours out the same reality before him. And what's next that she does? What is her response to the reality?
Same thing, right? If you would have been here.
And what then? Read verse 33, somebody.
When Jesus saw her weeping and the Jews who had come with her also weeping, he was deeply moved in his spirit and greatly troubled.
So, this is one thing that I want you guys also to contemplate on. And I believe that this is one of the crucial things to be aware of when you try to impose your reality on God. How does God feel when he sees you struggling and suffering and you don't want to let go of your reality?
Like it's annoyed and angry.
Is that what you see here?
It says he welled up, a deep anger welled up in him. And the reason why...
What's the translation that?
No, wait, listen. Let me tell you why I think he was a little angry.
Okay.
Because Rafa does this to me all the time. This kid, I will tell him something, and I'm trying to help him, and he will be stubborn and say, no, my way, and I'm like, dude, I'm freaking how much older than you? I've been a kid. I've lived this much life. I know what I'm telling you. Trust me. I'm your mom. I love you. And he's doing his thing, and I'm just like, oh my goodness. So
That's awesome.
Sometimes it's like the frustration of like, dude, listen. Like, why would I want anything bad in your life? Like, can you just trust me?
This is a
So
beautiful
sometimes-
example.
This is why sometimes when I go to God, I'm like, oh, I'm just like Rafa. I'm sorry. I'm trying. I get
Okay,
it. I get
okay.
it. So that's why I'm like, I think
Okay.
it was a little bit frustrating.
Okay, all right, yeah. Now you relate, now I understand. Well, okay. No, when you said anger, you know, the first thing, and it was like my filter, like the anger of God. Like, no, he was not, but no, but this is, yeah.
It's a
This is like,
difference from love, because you're like, I just want to help you. Let me help you. But no, we have to do it our way.
Thank you very much. This is a beautiful example. And this is exactly, this is something that we do to God, and sometimes we feel that God is kind of impervious to our energy. But he's not. You know, we need to remember that it freaking hurts him when we do this to ourselves. it hurt Jesus to the point of he started crying. Actually, no, he started weeping. This is different. We see several places in the Bible where Jesus cried. When he was crying over Jerusalem, when he was crying over the masses, when he was. But this is different. This is the only place where where it was mentioned that he wept.
I think it's because, like, as a father, you understand, you know, you don't want that person to go through that pain and you feel that same pain that they're feeling. So it's not a weeping of sadness, it's more a weeping of, I'm feeling, like he's feeling in our own skin, you know?
I think he was sad.
Huh?
I think he was sad.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, that was the one, as the letter said, the one he loved. And I think he also growing up with, well, I don't know, did he grow up with Mary? And
Very possible that they knew each other. Probably not growing up, because Jesus grew up in Nazareth, they grew up in Bethany, which is still some ways apart. But it's very possible that they were visiting each other and that they were some kind of a family, yeah.
right.
Again, it's just speculations based on kind of when you put everything together, that's kind of impression that you get. But essentially, God is moved by your pain. The pain that you feel, he feels it even more deeply. And when I realized this, it really got me. Like, it really got me like, damn it, I'm so sorry. Like, I know I gotta trust. I know you never failed me. Like, I have decades of unfailing experience, but there were so many turbulent times, and yet he never failed. And then turbulent time kicks in again, and I'm again going through this process. But it really hit me when I realized, like, I don't want to cause you pain. You know? I don't want my pain to cause anybody else's pain, especially not to God. But nevertheless, it happens. Now, the process of shattering the box, that is the next thing. The process of shattering the box. So, verse 35 says Jesus wept, and then verse 36 says, so the Jews said, see how he loved him. They again see this human perspective, which is fine. But then verse 37 is the one that hurts again. But some of them said, could not he who opened the eyes of the blind man and also have kept this man from dying? Again, pinning the blame on God. Like none of these things were necessary. That's the perspective that we have. But from his perspective, all of this was necessary to happen.
Well, I'm sure they were mad too, because if he let somebody die that, like you said, he loved.
You help freaking strangers
yeah, like
over
some
there.
stranger, like where the heck were you?
Yeah, no, but it's true. Exactly,
Yeah,
it makes you
so
mad at
mad.
God. Yeah, the friend that I mentioned, like she told me, we're really close when it comes to this spiritual connection and sharing and understanding. And she says, like, I can't say this to pretty much to anybody, but I am really angry with God. And I don't understand why this had to go this way. I am trying to, I'm accepting his grace, but I just can't pray right now. I haven't prayed in days. You know? So that's the type of anger that we're talking about here. The type of anger where, like, I know that you have it all figured out, but I just don't want to see you right now. Because this pain, you could have prevented it. Again, going back to what I said before, feeling pain is not a bad thing. Going through the pain of your marriage dissolving gave you a lot of clarity to see all of the things, not just where Obed screwed up, but also where you screwed up. And gave you a lot of clarity on how to raise your son so he doesn't go through the same pain. You know? And you think about the pain that you guys had to go through. Pain focuses you. And it's either going to focus you in anger, or it's going to be focusing you in clarity.
I want to add something to what you said that I think I like relearned this week. Was you know, sometimes when you have certain expectations and it kind of seems like it's going and you get really excited about something happening because you're just like, yeah, it's going my way, it's so exciting. And then like when it falls through, maybe it's at house or relationship, whatever it is, and it falls through and it's like so crushing. And I was like, man, like why is it so crushing? Why does it feel so crappy? I can be positive, I can be cheery, but I can't feel that. So why is it affecting me so much? And something that I heard this lady was talking about, usually when that happens, when you get so excited about something, it's because you're putting like a lot of, there's something deeper attached to it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, and I was thinking, okay, well, if it fell through, and I feel this despair, why is it feeling that? Like, what was that thing for me? And then so I started recognizing that the things I had attached to that specific event was hope, was future, was love, was this, all these things outside. And I was like, oh, that's a lot to put on a person, on a situation, on an event. All this hope, and then I'm realizing, oh God, I see what you're doing. You're showing me that I can't be placing all those things on human or material things that have to be placed in you. So then it's like, okay, and it still sucks, it doesn't go away, but then it's like, oh, okay, I need to learn to not do that. And when I am doing, I can recognize that that's what I'm doing.
Thank you very much for sharing. Yeah, but here's the thing. The problem that we have over here is that we forget the big picture of God's presence, and then we are so focused on the freaking pain that we can't see beyond it and the purpose of it. We seldom assign a purpose to the pain. And instead of asking ourselves, how can I get rid of this pain? We should ask ourselves, okay, what is this pain bringing me right now? There is a gift that comes out of every pain.
I guess I got a lot of gifts.
That's good. I hope you're keeping them and using them.
You analyze them. If you, like Miller said, if you're not asking, then you're not analyzing, and then you're just brushing it off and keeping that pain, and then it's not helping you in any way. Or you gotta analyze and think, okay, what does it mean?
Like
Why
everything
am I-
has purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. And the moment you find purpose in it, that means that the purpose is going to drive you to grow out of that experience. And this really plays a big role when it comes to shattering the box. Because when you go through the process of shattering the box, one thing that happens is you literally have to deconstruct the expectations of your reality. And say pretty much kind of what Philip said, whatever happens, it happens and I'm fine with that. And people sometimes feel that that is like a nihilist attitude, but it's not. Yeah, but detaching is actually a process of shattering the box. Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just massaging my arm.
All right. Okay. Now, so Jesus starts shattering the box. And he says, so verse 39, he says, take away the stone. How much sense did taking away the stone mean at that point?
Well, for them, none, because it's like the smell is terrible.
Yeah, and Martha keeps pushing the box.
Yeah.
You see?
And it's like also respect, right? Because he's dead. Let him sleep. You know.
Yeah, so again, yeah, true as well. So there are things over here that really show that Martha, and she was the strong one. She was the one that was kind of wedged in with both feet in reality. She was the handler of the whole situation. She was the boss of the family. She was running things. And the more she was firm into her reality, the harder it was her to let go of it. You guys are creators of your reality. But the problem that you tend to run in, not you, we, I've been learning this the hard way as well, is that the reality you create, you start putting cards and building this, this tower of cards for yourself. The higher it gets, the more trouble you have tearing it down. Have you guys ever tried that? Like building a tower, and then your sibling comes and she throws something at it.
Or the wind.
Or even worse, yes, because I can beat up my sibling. Oh, my sister, she was horrible. She was always doing that kind of stuff. And then she screams. And then like, what did you do to your sister? And then, yeah, anyways. But true, even worse, when things are completely out of your, control, the bigger the tower is, the more it hurts, right? And I'm warning you on this, because here's the thing. Excuse me, I'm trying to prevent myself from sneezing. This is why I'm telling you this. All of you guys are at this point where you're holding your reality by the horns. You're outside of that, what am I going to do with my life? What is happening? Why are things, you're past that mode. All of you are pretty much, you know where you're going. You know where you want to be. Not just this week, you know where you want to be this year. You know where you want to be in 5 years. I'm not talking to out of college, I don't know what to do with my life. I hope. That's the impression that I have of you guys. You might be hiding it really well, but that's the impression. Now, do not build a closed box. Have the framework done, because the framework is based on your desires, on your passions, on your abilities, and this is awesome. You should have this built, because the reality will even requires a construct. But don't have a closed off construct. Because here's what is God going to do. You're going to pray for things. You're going to do all of the things right. And then when things go sideways, you tend, not you, I'm sorry for saying you, I do this as well all the time. We tend, the moment things are going sideways, we run into the restore mode to fix it. Instead of asking ourselves, where is this taken? The moment things go sideways, we freak out. Whether it's whatever it is, you get fired, you get a bad health diagnosis, something happens with somebody you love, whatever it is, we immediately try to shift it back to fit into the box. Instead of first asking ourselves, where are you taking me with this? And then you take the time to go through the process of pain and see first, where are you taking me with this, before trying to fix it. Because, believe it or not, what happened here, we do this all the freaking time. Martha could have insisted, no. Jesus, that grave stays closed. Yeah, I love you. Yeah, I appreciate you, but you're late. And we're not going to open the chapter of this book again. She could have done that. And here's the thing, if she insisted, do you think Jesus would push it? Wouldn't be the first time that he didn't. It really wouldn't be the first time that he didn't.
I think that's where faith has a lot.
Like comes aligned to play, right?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of faith.
But here's the thing. What is faith in your box? The faith is not that my plans are going to work out perfectly. The faith is, no matter what happens, his plan for my divine purpose is going to work out perfectly.
Right.
And sometimes the whole reality needs to be deconstructed for that to happen. Sometimes a 180-degree change needs to happen in your life for divine big picture to come to fruition. Yeah. This is something we are not ready for. That's why I told you, you guys are building your future right now. You have your plans. You know who you want to be. You know where you want to be. But do you know for 100% certainty that that is where God wants you to be? If there is a little bit of a wavering in that, then you have to start loosening the screws of your box and say, this is my plan. This is where I want to be. But if you're taking me elsewhere, I know it's going to be better. I'll make myself ready for that. Martha was not ready. Absolutely not. She's still discouraging Jesus. And then Jesus is like, hey, did I not tell you that if you believed, you will see the glory of God? That is the belief that I'm talking about. Might not be your reality, but where you're headed to is going to be a so much more amazing reality. And I kid you not, guys, like you know me for a long time. This is what our life has been all of this time. From like the very beginning back there. Like, your will be done prayer. I had my long moments of regret for praying that. But now looking back, like, no. Oh, no, that was awesome. We didn't want to come to the United States. We wanted to go to New Zealand. We had everything laid out. I was supposed to go over there, work as a youth pastor. Literally everything was laid out already. And then in same week, when that falls through, the United States just opens up. Out of the blue, completely unplanned, we are invited. And we were not the favored ones at the time. Because Jasmina's father, at the time, he was still an active pastor, but he was in, let's say, the opposition. He was against the establishment because he didn't agree with the way that the conference was running things in the union. So we were kind of we were put always on the bottom of the list. So God brings us here. Then we come to California, the best of the best that the United States has to offer. Like anything else. Going to Colorado was like, I don't want to be a cowboy. Like, I don't want to go to the wastelands of like, and prairies and light a fire and so on. Like, but no, I'm kidding you. That is the European impression of Colorado. I don't want to go hike 14ers every weekend. That's what. Yeah, oh, they are. Yeah. After I got a pair, I realized that. But before that, it was like no. Can vouch for Colorado boots. He brings us to Colorado. I decide I'm never going to be a pastor in my life. Like as soon as I get my green card taken care of, which was supposed to take, that was back in 2006. So February 2006, 18 years ago. We come to Colorado with an intention, takes about 6 months to finish with our green card process, and then by church, by God, I'm done with you, I'm going to go live my life. Takes another 7 years to get my green card. No, because you're not, like God and his freaking plans. And the only reason it hurt more is because I was struggling every freaking step of the way.
I couldn't see you not being a pastor. Like seeing you work somewhere else, I just couldn't see it. It doesn't like process in my brain.
I tried numerous things. Like I worked in construction. I got this real estate license. I like
the one Serbian with all the Hispanic guys, yeah.
No, but you know what's the coolest thing? So like, they speak Spanish, they speak English, so on and so on. And then like Jasmina calls me, and I just start speaking in Serbian, and everybody's just like, "What was that? What was that? What language is that?" Kind of funny. Or even I don't know if you guys remember Ben. He used to spend maybe like a year in 2012-13. Yeah. So same thing. Like we would work together in the construction, and we just start yelling at each other across the site. Bring me the hammer. Where did you live? Where did you live? That in Serbian, and same thing. Like crickets. And then the guy's like, "Are you talking about us?" Like, no, I'm not talking about you. You're not that important. You know? No, but I'm telling you, the pain subsides when you stop struggling. The pain subsides when you stop looking for solutions to eliminate the pain or to numb the pain. It really subsides deep in your soul when you look up and ask Him and yourself, okay, where is this side track taking me right now? This is not a setback. This is an opportunity for something better. But until you do that consciously to yourself, your prayers that are so grand and amazing before God are going to be put on a shelf. I asked the Lord for grandiose things, and He gave them all to me. I kid you not. But I think, now looking back, I could have had many of these things sooner if I just wasn't tripping Him every step of the way. So I challenge you to do the same thing. Sideways is going to come. Maybe you're in the middle of it right now. You're asking the Lord for one thing, completely opposite thing is happening. Just try to figure it out. Okay, let's just go with it. Okay, the thing is they're going the wrong way. Let's go with it and see where you take me. You know, use your common sense. Pray, think. But ask yourself, okay, is this another opportunity that's actually going to make things explode in a completely amazing way that I didn't even dream of?
I think if you really want to and you're being close to God and changing your energy, your daily energy to like everything positive, to everything's going to happen. And if it doesn't happen, it's fine. It's not wasn't meant for me.
This is the attitude that people say it's childish, you know, because, oh, you can't just give up control, you know. But that's exactly what Jesus says. If you're not like kids, if you're not like children, you're not going to see the kingdom. But the moment you start living that life, oh my goodness, I kid you not, it's so much easier. Everything is so much easier to deal with. People, situations, problems, issue, whatever it is, it's so much easier to deal with. When you approach it with, okay, let's see how good this can go, instead of let's see how bad this is going to be. Serious. Let's wrap it up. So they took away the stone, and now this is cool thing. We'll wrap up with this verse. So Jesus responds. Somebody please read verse 41 and 42.
Then Jesus looked up to heaven and said, Father, thank you for hearing me. You always hear me. But I said it out loud for the sake of all these people standing here, so that they will believe you sent me.
This is the prayer that we talked about before, remember? I want this to be your prayer. I literally want this to be your prayer when you're in the midst of this crap that you're dealing with. God, I know you hear me. I know you've got me. And I'm thanking you right now because this is going to be something better. You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen? The burden will be lifted off of your chest, and people around you are going to be like, what the hell is wrong with you? We have to deal with this crap, and you're all happy and cheerful and okay. Have you ever been in that situation? Where in the midst of trials and struggles, you're cool. And everybody's looking at you like, dude.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That is an experience of faith where you don't have to say a word to minister to other people.
I remember my car broke down. I got crashed in, broke up with my girlfriend, and I had no work. And one of the workers got another job somewhere else, and I'm just like, I don't know what the hell to do.
I'm really challenging you to think about this. Your reality is not this reality. You may be part of this reality, as all of us are, but this is not your reality. You remember when Jesus said, be in the world, but not of it. This is the challenge of faith that I have for you. Once you embrace that, everything, I kid you not, everything is just trivial that happens in your life. No matter how big, significant might look from the perspective of the world, you're like, yeah, yeah, okay, we'll see. This is going to be good. The worst thing is this is going to be good. And then on top of it, your anticipation and stress turn into cool. Turns into excitement and adventure.
Yeah, I think I've only had that a couple times. I think that's very hard to do, but maybe more practice.
There is nothing, it is absolutely hard, but there is nothing that you will miss on more, but if you don't practice this every single day. It so improves life. It opens doors that you didn't even think existed. I kid you not. Because once you do that, once you let go and believe, then God can like, oh, okay, he's getting it. Let's take him to the next level. And it happens. And you're like, whoa, I kid you not.
I was thinking, since we've been having this series, I was talking to Sean and I told him, I said, honestly, it's going to sound very pretentious, and very weird having to start asking these things and having to start bringing these subjects up to God, because it's going to have to break all these norms that I've had and my views of him. And so I was like, but I'm going to sound silly and I'm going to do it, and he's going to answer, and he knows that I'm going through something, and it's just going to be what it is. But that whole word is it's going to feel so pretentious. I was like, but he's going to do it.
Yeah, and he will, The more you're open to it, the more silly it will feel, and the more amazing the experience will be down the road.
I want to add that also, be prepared to start, he's going to start showing you all kinds of things that you need to work on and work through. I think something that recently I've been learning is that I can be more diligent in the things that I have right now and how to steward where I'm at and the things. Because the parable is a parable of the guys, the servants who were given.
Yeah.
Right? And then one dug it in the ground, one multiplied, all these things, and I was like, oh, okay, I have all these visions and all these desires of going somewhere and doing these things, but then it's am I even working diligently with what I have now? And God is trying to say no, homegirl, you gotta do good here, and then I can give you more. But until you do that, you can't get here because you're not ready. It's gonna be bad.
Yeah. You keep dragging the burden into it, and it keeps dragging you back to where you were.
Then it's oh, okay, I see what you're doing. You're preparing me, and instead of being stubborn and no, that's not what I want, it's okay, I'm gonna accept where I'm at, steward that properly, and when I'm ready, and I'm ready, then we'll move it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's I think that God's gonna show us that, but sometimes, like you said, we just so stubborn.
We live and we learn. So I challenge you, I don't know if you're going to have any sideways experiences this week. I just challenge you, when it comes, remember this lesson. Stop solving the issue and first ask yourself, is this something that's going to open up to something better? Yeah, and you will be surprised. Any questions? Okay.
I would like to add that it's cool that this story that we read, Milosh, where verse 4 says, but when Jesus heard about, when they went and told him that his dear friend was really sick, Mary and Martha didn't know that he said this, but he says, but when Jesus heard about it, he said, Lazarus' sickness will not end in death. No, it happened for the glory of God, so that the Son of Man will receive glory from this. So he was already working in the background. He already knew. They didn't know that was happening.
That was the first step of breaking the reality for his students. Because here's the thing. He is giving them, and again, been there. God did this for me a couple of times. He's literally telling them this is what's going to happen. Now you guys observe and learn the lesson. You know, and they're coming over there, and Lazarus is dead for like 3 days. You know, well, but Jesus says it's not going to end in death. Okay, let's see how is that going to work out. You know, so they were kind of ready for what was happening. You know, because he started cracking the reality, the box, yeah, for them at the get-go, you know. And you guys will get to that same point. I'm telling you, I kid you not. Okay, we need to finish. I know. I just gotta share this with you, and it's crazy. You're gonna start foreseeing the future. It sounds crazy, but you're gonna start foreseeing the future. You might not like rationally understand it, but you will start feeling the future. Like this client feels really, really good. Okay, I think we're gonna click really well together. This business deal, I should stay away from it. It's not going to work out that well. This case trial is going to take more time than I should devote. My kid is going to misbehave today as well. Let's give him some Benadryl at the beginning of the day. Or like, no, but I'm telling you, I kid you not, you're going to start feeling the day. You're going to start feeling the week. You're going to start feeling the event that is coming that you're a part of, and it will give you a vibe. Before anything happens, you're going to have this vibe. It's crazy, seriously. And if you listen to it, you'll see. You'll be right most of the time. It's kind of crazy, seriously. But I believe in order for us to do that, we need to crack the box open. Loosen the screws and allow God to reshape it and readjust it the way He finds it fitting. And the box just starts expanding after that. It's amazing. All right, let's have prayer, and then I gotta go blow my nose because it's been itching for like 20 minutes now. Let's volunteer a prayer. Por favor.
Dear Lord Jesus, help us have the faith to pray the brave prayers, the prayers that we're most afraid of, the prayers, my Lord dear Jesus, that will begin our life with you in a way that we couldn't even begin to imagine. My Lord dear Jesus, I ask and I thank, I thank you so much for this time that we all spent together. I pray that we'll take many truths from here and apply them to our lives. I ask that you take care of us throughout the rest of this week and help us meditate this, not only for our lives, but for those around us. We're excited, and we are in you. Actually, just help us and prepare us for what is going to come. I thank you. In Jesus' name we all pray and thank. Amen.
Amen.
You're teaching me with my imperfections, reaching me when I run the other direction. I'm undone, unraveling my plans. Make me whole again, rebuild me from the inside out, in a way only you know how. You're teaching me